Good afternoon, folks. My name is Dave, and I am the Casual Gamer. Today I'm bringing you some more of Terraria. As you can see, I've finished off my NPC efficient housing. It's a little bit messy up there right now, just due to some repair work I had to do. So I initially built them just a little bit off spec. I'm sure some of you may have noticed that in my previous video, that my height was just a couple blocks off. Made sure to bump them up a little bit and run over them with the housing check tool, which you can quickly access through your inventory by clicking on the housing icon and using housing query. And as you can see, this housing is suitable, so we should soon start seeing some NPCs arriving. More specifically, I need the guide back to get rid of these bloody quests. For now, while we're waiting for people to spawn, I think we're going to go off and do a little bit more exploring, just to see what this world has to offer. So we did only a little bit before, and locating the jungle and the dungeon are going to be two pretty big goals, just so I can find out roughly where everything's going to be for us. As I mentioned before, there's a daily quest, which is just a really quick and easy one, with the guy, which is just, as he calls it, a stupid race. It is just running over to the dungeon, talking to the old man, and running back. But we're going to pop in here and see what we can, and see what the guide has to say. Hopefully these are just close enough to the ground that I can actually talk to Zach. I'm not sure if they are. They are not quite there. I made another little goof. But that's an easy goof to put it. Just for a temporary fix, I'm just going to put some platforms just at enough height that I can get in there and talk to him. You can see there's our stupid race, fighter qualification test, ranger qualification test, flying eyes, some fetch and kill quests. Luckily enough, we can actually get a bunch of these done today. So stupid race is the one I was just talking about. Class qualification tests, they're just what allow you to actually become your class. The one that I'm after, which is the Mage, has not appeared yet, and there's no way for switching classes at the moment. Killing eyes, we've got find this sword, sinister presence. Oh, unfortunately I can't get sinister presence or zombie attack right now, as I have too many quests. I have too many things that this game wants me to work on first. But that's what happens. That's what happens at the beginning of most RPGs. You have way too much to do and not enough time to do it all in. So let's just keep working at everything. I'm gonna quickly make a door, as I failed to put one in on the one side of my house, which is very awkward to get through the house to all the various places I need to go. So we will put that in, and then we'll continue on our merry way. So we've got 5 minutes to complete the stupid race. Hopefully the dungeon is off in this direction, but if it's not, we'll just have to do it tomorrow, as that quest is available to us, as far as I know, every day. Luckily enough, our demon racial gives us access to wings right off the bat, which makes a lot of this traveling much easier, as we don't have to try to jump and climb over mountains. Continue our way across. Also, we don't have to worry about swimming through water. And once you get used to the flight mechanic, it becomes quite a handy tool. I can see we're in the desert now, which is a little dangerous to work on. And see, this is where I'm very grateful for the fact that we have wings. Oh, we're not going to be able to actually make it though. Let's see if I can abuse my climbing claws a little bit here. Yes, I can. Excellent. So there's a weird little mountain right in the middle here. So that's something I have yet to see. You can see there's some ant lines there trying to get a hold of us. Luckily enough, we can just kind of fly right past them. Away we go. One thing you do have to be careful is fall damage. So of course, falling too fast will damage you. Ah, we have found the jungle. So that's excellent. Because that tells us that the dungeon is on the other half of the world. So we're going to quickly use a recall potion to teleport back home. You'll see that sword line on the ground. That's for the quest of finding the lost sword. Luckily, this is one you can just walk over it, pick it up, and you're done. There's another one that's finding some missing gel, which is a pain in the butt because you have to stand over these gel spots in the world for about 5 to 10 seconds each. We're going to continue our way through the snow plains here, which, again, at its level, is not going to be too much of an issue for us right now. Eventually, once we find the corruption, that area will be a little bit more troublesome for us, but we haven't seen it just yet. I'm sure we will on one of our trips here. Luckily, these wings also give us a slight movement speed bonus, which is great. And here we go. We found the first bit of crimson. Usually, it'll spawn around the desert and around a snow biome because it likes to corrupt. It likes to corrupt them. So you can see now we're getting lots of things to have to fight, and they're fairly tough critters. We're hopefully going to try to just get over and away from these guys as fast as we can, so we don't have to worry about getting in too much trouble here. So as you can see, wings do have a duration on them. So that's something you have to watch out for. You cannot just fly infinitely. Luckily, there's a few little things you can do to abuse that. One is through the climbing claws and sticking to a wall. The other one is just landing briefly and continuing your flight. See another little patch of crimson here we'll have to work our way through. The one nice thing is that there will be a bit of XP for us doing this. But we will be back here to do a little bit more work once we've hopefully picked up our requisite class. And you can see though there's a few things spawning after us, but we are quick enough that we can outmaneuver them. Those are the enemies though that you will find in Crimson. And enemies do like to follow you. Luckily they do drop slightly better loot. And you can see this guy is still after us, unfortunately, but he's got very little health left, so he shouldn't pose too much of a threat for us. And if we get too far enough away from him, he should despawn, or at the very least leave us alone. If not, it'll be very quick to handle him one more time. There it is, we have found the dungeon. We did it with 17 seconds to spare. Lucky us. Boom, we've made it back. Now we have to get back quickly. Luckily enough, we have a potion to handle that. And hopefully, if we can do this in 5 seconds. Maybe 3, 2, 1. And we just got it in time. That was lucky. We are going to have to go back to the dungeon as I hope to find the water bolt spell eventually. Apparently our guide is jumping houses on us. We're going to have to finish this little derpy walkway that I have going here. As otherwise this is going to be very tough for us to talk to him. Or any of the other NPCs, which are all going to be quest givers for us. Alright. So, unfortunately, the next round of quest is going to rely on us waiting for nighttime to happen. So, in the meantime, I think we're going to actually try to head back a ways. We're going to head back towards the Crimson and towards the dungeon, see if we can get through the upper little bit of that dungeon, and see if we can find a water bolt spell. As you can see, the Demolitionist has arrived. I don't believe he offers a class that we're interested in, but I should go check it out as I'm not sure, and I know I'd be kicking myself if I found out to the contrary. Fortunately, because of my little derp up with the height of my building, I have to put these little cheaty walkway in. Nope, it's just a mine search quest, so that's nothing we're interested in at the moment. We will go through and do that eventually, but for the time being at least, we don't need it. So you can see we are definitely under geared. As you can see, I have no armor as of yet, and I haven't really done any mining yet. I'm hoping to skip by some of that, just with sheer attack power for now. Once we start to take on bosses, I will actually look more at some armor. But I'd like to see if I can get something slightly more class appropriate. I know that in pre-hard mode, that's almost useless, and you're better off just using whatever you can scrounge up. But where's the fun and challenge in that? As you can see, we're taking on most enemies we find pretty handily right now. And we're back. So now we're in the Bloody Snowlands, which is a crimson corrupted frozen biome. Just a little one there. Because the way biomes work in Terraria is there has to be a number of blocks between 50 and 300, I believe it is, of the given type to produce the biome. So I believe for Crimson and for its counterpart, you only I believe it's either 50 or 100 blocks, I believe, to give you their respective biome. Fell into the water a little bit here. Let's see if we can fly out quickly. As flight does work in the water. So look, we can just kind of keep running and escaping. This guy will chase us. We might as well take him down, get the XP out of him. One more Chimera down. I think my little starting one is doing a pretty nice job, but if I could find a water bolt for early levels, that will make taking down bosses very easy. As it is probably one of the better, or if not the best, pre-hard mode spell in the game. Which we are getting a little bit of a swarm coming after us here. But if we just keep moving, we should be okay. Just keep moving and nothing too terrible should happen to us. We got lucky there. We took him out just before we took damage. And I've gotten a couple levels now. So I am going to have to deal with that eventually. But we're going to deal with that once we're a little safe. As I really don't want to get attacked. Especially in a higher level area while I'm just trying to put in a few skill points. We're almost back to the dungeon now. And here we are. So let's see what happens. Now, we do have to be wary because we can't go too far into the dungeon, as there is something called the Dungeon Guardian that does spawn once you get below terrain level 0. It is a guardian. It has over 1,000 defense, or about 1,000 defense, which means that no matter what attack you do to it, it's only going to take 1 damage at a time. And it has, I believe it's like 10,000 health or somewhere thereabouts. So we're just going to try to explore just the top little bit here. Hopefully, we'll find what we're after before we get into too much trouble here. Luckily, we got those couple of depth meters very early on, which makes things that much easier for us. See this little glowing blue candle? It's called a water candle. This is something that increases mob spawn rates in the area around you. So it can be great for creating little mob farms, but you do still have to be careful. Keep working our way down here. Unfortunately, we're not having the greatest of luck right now, but we'll continue pushing, and hopefully we will find what we're after. Unfortunately, luck is not continuing, and we are just about to enter into his territory. But we might push just far enough until he gets us. You see, we're right at 9, 6. Dropping down just a little bit further is going to cause us big problems. So let's see. We are now in Skeletron's dungeon. And there's now an event coming for us. I am minorly fearful, as I don't want to die just yet. But unfortunately, this is sometimes it's just how luck falls. There he is. You can tell that's the standard boss awakening noise. You can see him spinning up to me on my map. There's nothing I can really do to get away from him. As you can see, he just did 77,000 damage to me. Really nothing I can do about that, especially at this point in the game. Even in hard mode, or sorry, not hard mode, even in full end game gear, it is very, you have to build and fight very specifically to take him on. Alright, so we're getting into nighttime at least now, which is perfect, as that means we can start working towards some of these other quests that we have been handed. Let's see what we can... So let's see what we can do for our loot. The merchant is still hanging out outside for some reason. I'm not really sure why he's doing that, but he should move back inside eventually. Drop off some of our stuff. We got lots of books, just none of them are the right book for us. But I did find a wand of sparking. That is something new to me. This fires out a little spark of fire where we've put our mouse. So, very simple little attack. Our magic stick does more damage. Ooh, but we also found ourselves a deadly wand of sparking, which does 92 damage. So, that should be helpful. Unfortunately, it doesn't have auto attack, but there's very few things in hard or in pre-hard mode that do, as that is just such a powerful ability. So we got potions, some vicious mushrooms, and all sorts of other goodies we can start working towards. I also picked up a piggy bank. This lovely little guy allows me a place to store extra items and money. Eventually, you can actually pick up a wand that summons the piggy bank for you, so that wherever you are, you can really quickly throw your money in, and that way, it's safe for when you die. Continue on, see what the guide's doing, and see if he's got anything fun for sale. I can never remember these things. So, shopping, a mining helmet, shuriken. So if you're trying to do a ranger build, shuriken are a great way to start that out, as they can do quite a bit of damage for an early game item. You can pick up your arrows, spare pickaxes and axes just in case you get rid of yours, a sickle, which its only real use is for collecting hay. Which those can then be can be used for, I think, just a very limited number of things. The main one being target dummies, so you can help track your DPS and just see which weapon is better, or even test out some of the effects of other weapons. You know, glow sticks, which are just handy for mining. All you do is you just chuck it. You can just chuck it, and it lights up the area below you. But unlike torches, they will stay lit while you're in water. Very useful. You can also purchase an anvil if you don't feel like making one, and this just allows you to make all of your different metal bar items, or at least a good chunk of them to start out with. Eventually you have to upgrade it to work with some of the later game materials, but that's something that's once hard mode hits. I almost forgot, we've got a few points to spend now. We got 6 more points, so that's fantastic. What shall we put them in today? So I think we're going to put some of these into Charisma again. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get King Slime eventually, and I can work towards farming up the Slime Staff. We definitely want some more Wisdom, because it adds to our mana, and adds to our mana regen. So it will just be that much more combat effective. Also want to add to Int, as that gives us magic damage, and also helps lower our mana cost. Another thing we'll have to put some more points into eventually is Vitality, just to get our health up. And so we've also picked up our last class point, so we can finish off our basic abilities. So now that that's maxed out, we will be able to continue on our path. Unfortunately, nothing seems to be spawning tonight, which is an issue that I've run into a couple times in this game, where you're expected to do something, but the way that the mod has tweaked things, the spawns that you need just don't show up. I'm not sure if it's something to do with your level versus the level of the zone you're in, or if it's just a glitch in the coding that's just changed the percentage chance of things spawning. Either way, it's a minor inconvenience that we'll have to work around. hopefully we can get a few more spawns to show up. But unfortunately, it looks like there's just a couple underground there. So we're just going to continue moving our way along and see if we can find some trouble as opposed to waiting for trouble to come to us. So we hit the desert now, and all of a sudden, right away, there are enemies spawning. So that's a great sign for us. Continue our way, and hopefully... There we go, lots of guys to take on now. Luckily we have lots of mana right now with all of our stat points. Lots of zombies spawning. So again, not sure exactly what it is. I'm assuming it's probably a level-based thing in the area. Just to keep an area from being, you know, a low-level pain in the butt for you. You can see we've got a very big eye there in front of us to take on. But with our mana, it is a non-issue for us, really. Farming a few more of these guys. Hopefully we'll get some demon eyes to show up so we can continue fighting them. And I'm gonna actually work on picking up some of these tombstones, as I would like to eventually be able to put a graveyard biome right near the base just for some easy farming. I believe you need something like 10 or 15. Not sure the exact number, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out eventually. Continue climbing our way up and over. See what else is going on over here, and get a couple of fallen stars so we can slowly increase our mana through vanilla means as well. A few more guys taken out. Just a basic here, most enemies aren't really too much of an issue for us. First we gotta wait for that tombstone to finish bouncing, which it will continue doing until it finds a nice flat surface to land on. Turn around here and get some funnel back towards us, as I find, even though in the real world being on higher ground is a combat advantage, in Terraria it's really not unless you are playing as a range build character. And with the way this wand fires, being on the uphill is not good for us. Luckily enough though, we can quickly solve that problem. And now we're far more maneuverable and can take enemies out much easier. Kind of light up the area a little bit in here. Our wand doesn't do a great job, but it does enough of work. Alright, out we go. Take on a couple more demon eyes. Oh good, we have actually finished that quest, which is quite important. That's what's going to lead us towards taking on the Eye of Cthulhu. Along, so there's another fallen star there. Continue getting more mana, given how important mana is to us. Ooh, we found some moon glow. That'll be great for our garden. That's a plant that only blooms at night, so that'll be very important. Now we're doing a little bit of jungle exploration. You can see it's a much higher level, but we can continue working our way through it. There's a little skeleton invasion message there, just from that one that we found in the dungeon that we were on a different mission, so I didn't deal with it. We'll go back to do it. We'll go back to do that one once we actually get into some more. For right now, we're kind of continuing our exploration and just working our way through everything. You see this nice little cave here for us to work our way through. And there's another chest for us to dig through, which is even better. Found ourselves a radar. That's a very handy little informational accessory, as that allows us to see the count of nearby enemies. very useful if you're off mining, doing something where you're not particularly paying attention to enemies, or you want to know if there's too many near you, so that you can work on taking them out. We found some more crimson on the other side here. As you do, it does always spawn. It doesn't always start out on both sides, but one instance of the crimson, I believe it is, will, or corruption if you're in a corruption world, will turn into something called the hallowed once you start hard mode. And that is done by taking the wall of light boss fight, which is something that you really only want to do when you're really prepared for it. It can be relatively easy to do, but it's the resulting enemy spawns and world changes that happen after you defeat it that sometimes you're not quite ready for. One of the big ones is corruption and crimson will start spreading at a very rapid pace, which can very quickly lead to them taking over your world, and you live in nothing but a crimson or corruption world, which means a lot of your farming opportunities are completely lost. That's something very important to consider. A lot of players do recommend digging what's known as a elevator, a good 6 or 7 blocks wide, all the way down to the very bottom of your world, as that will allow you to stop the crimson spreading or corruption. Now, one thing to keep in mind too is the hallowed will spread as well. Some players like the hallowed. I kind of like the thematic aspect of it, as it's actually a bunch of unicorns and fairies that spawn there. Continuing on our merry way here, see what we can see. Luckily, we have lots of recall potions, so we don't have to worry about getting too lost. And I'm going to keep breaking things with my magic wand, as our mana is in perfectly fine shape for doing this. Keep flying around, see what we find. Even more deserts. You notice I've started picking up cactus, something that I forgot to do when I found the other desert, but cactus armor is something that you can make. It tends to be quite expensive, as cactus is something that does just continuously respawn for you in the world. What we've also found here is the beach biome, which means we are right next to the ocean. The ocean spawns on the very extreme outer edges of both sides of your map. We've also found a friend, the fisherman. He spawns somewhere along one of the beaches. Sometimes he's on the beach, sometimes he's actually floating along in the ocean. So it's up to you to find him and wake him up. Once you do, you'll start getting quests for him, which are known as angler quests. These things, as you complete them, will give you various rewards. So we're doing just a little bit of exploring down here, just to see what's up. We will drown, but that's not too big of an issue. Especially as we can just quickly recall potion home. We got a bunch of quests done. Now let's go turn these all in. Again, talking to our old buddy, the guide. We've turned in those. Now we gotta talk to Zach, which again is the guide. Unfortunately, it looks like he is only taking one quest at a time there, just due to his dialogue. Alright. We got a few more quests. You can see we still got the shackles and they stole my hooks. I'm actually going to get rid of those, as the required items are not dropping very easily. And this way it will free up some space for us to take on other quests. Oh, perfect! Another NPC joined us. I must have missed that event. I'm sure some of you were shouting at the screen. So here we have Willie. He sells all of our various gun bits, including the mini shark. That is a fantastic item to be able to buy, especially at this point in the game. Even more so if you're playing a ranged build character. He can be incredibly powerful to run around firing a mini shark at your opponents. You can see we've actually picked up the ability to do the merchant qualification test. I'm not sure if I wanted to do the merchant quest class at this point. I'm not sure what it is. I will have to do it as a posterity run, but I may save that for a posterity playthrough where I also play as the Fuzzy Bunny class. That's something to look into for future gameplays. For now, though, we're going to look at a few of these normal quests, like Zombie Attack, Sinister Presence, Finding the Gels, Killing Slimes, all these things that are very, very easy to complete. It's really just some free XP for us. As you can see, that one was just pick it up, get some dialogue, and he quickly just gives you back the XP for it. So this is the slime quest I was telling you about. I have to stand over these slimes for a few seconds and pick them up. Once I've picked up all of them, I can then return and give them back. And we've just picked up the Bat Attack minigame. We'll see just how bad it is. We're in a very narrow cavern at the moment. So we'll see what happens. You can see the game can be a little funny. I thought I was standing over it and I just didn't notice the progress meter not moving. Oh, we lucked out. There were actually 2 gels stacked up there for us. That makes things very easy. Look at this last one. There's even a little cave system under here that I just haven't taken a minute to explore yet. We'll do a quick little delve down here and see what we find. Nothing terribly exciting, but that's fine. Sometimes it's better if there's something not as exciting directly underneath the house. I'll go back out here, deal with some of these bats. Luckily enough, they're fairly easy to deal with at this point in the game, other than our weapon just randomly missing them because of its firing pattern. But lots of XP for us to do this. So we've got lots of contribution points, which, because we're in single player, we don't really need to worry about all that much. But it'll help end things and keep the bats from spawning all over our base. Almost there, and it's done. Have to deal with kind of a few stragglers. Yeah, so that's a great example of the World Pop events. Some of them are great, but when they keep spawning like that, they can be a bit of a nuisance. In one of my previous worlds, oh, excuse me there, folks. Apparently had a sneeze coming on there that I had to take care of. And nobody needs that into the microphone. That's just a little loud and obnoxious. And one thing you guys probably noticed pop up there is Raleigh, the traveling merchant, has arrived. So we should go talk to him, as he always sells some different goods, and generally most of them are useless. There's also he's also got a daily, the Traveler Export. So we'll have to see what that's all about. He's got the Lifeform Analyzer, which unfortunately we do not quite have enough money for yet. But we might try to sell a few things, just to see if we can work our way up to it. We'll go back and actually check in on one of my chests here that has a bunch of stuff in it, and see if we can sell some goodies off. If not, we may have to wait. I mean, the Lifeform Analyzer is something we don't have to worry about. See, this is what I'm talking about these top world events being rather annoying. We'll do a quick little dig over our chest here, because we do have some things we can sell. Let's see what we got. Lots of items we can get rid of. Excellent. Let's go see what we can get for all of this. Plus, we'll sell off our extra depth meters. We did find 2 of those. We will have to go and brave the bat swarm. Luckily enough, not going to be too much of a threat to us anymore. Sell off our goodies. Quickly jump out. Make sure we take care of any of the bats that are coming after us, as we don't want them to kill our friend either. There we go. That takes care of that problem, and we'll try one more time. Oh, lots of gel. Unfortunately, more bats coming in after us because this event is still not finished. Luckily, pretty soon it should be once I've gotten all the completions for it. There we go. 20 bats down. Don't have to worry about this bothering us anymore until the event spams again. Sell off all of our extra stuff. Definitely don't want to sell our radar. That is too useful to us. Trying to keep a hold of a bunch of our seeds if I can. So we're up to 3 gold. We need 4, unfortunately. Let's just see where we're at. Got 340 plus another 11 there. That's one advantage too of having the piggy bank is it counts it as being in savings. So that's very nice, because it means we can still access our money. We don't have to worry about losing it. No, unfortunately, it looks like we're not quite going to have enough money for this. That's alright. Hopefully when he comes around the next time, we'll be able to afford that item with him. Oh, a few more things we can sell. We're getting closer. Getting closer. Really do not want to give up the radar if I don't have to. But it's looking like that might be the only way we can do this. So I think we're gonna have to hold off for now. We're very, very close. Oh, we have some arrows we can get rid of. Not quite within our grasp just yet. We're at 64 silver coins. We are still a bit of a ways off for this point in the game. Nope, I think we're going to have to just let it go. Luckily, we've actually cleared out a bunch of our inventory of a backlog of sellable items. But we will go back and tuck those other few things away. We'll keep these. Lots of these health potions on hand, as well as a bunch of recall potions, at least until we find ourselves a magic mirror. Magic mirror is something that will be very important and will completely get rid of the use of those recall potions. Actually, we'll keep these gels around as well, so we can store them in our ammo slot and use them for making more torches as we go along. Alright, I think that's enough of me talking at you folks for one day. So again, my name is Dave. I am the Casual Gamer. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down, tell me what I did wrong. All of these things can really help me custom tailor my content and really help me improve in the long run. Thanks for watching, folks.